A very warm welcome to SME Street Viewpoint. I am Dr. Faiz Askari, founder of SME Street, and today, as we are going to record this session for our audience, and it is a very special occasion and special yearly occasion for the entire MSMEs, as we are observing World MSME Day. Why it is important for 2026, other than last previous few years, is what all we are witnessing at the global level, at the MSME level, and obviously if we compare, if we look at the both the scenarios, the global and the domestic, we can realize that this is one of the most important phase of Indian MSMEs, especially when we are actually looking at a global scenario which is restructuring, I must say, which is transforming, and we have Indian MSMEs, which itself is at a threshold of a great transformation. But today, for SME Street and for SME Street audience, this itself is a even stronger, even more important occasion, as we have this a very meaningful conversation, and we are privileged to host Honorable Secretary of Ministry of MSME and Mr. Khera, this ministry as the secretary. And if we actually look at the Indian MSMEs, this holds one of the most important positions for the entire MSME sector, and the entire MSME sector represent one of the most important part of the overall economic transformation and economic transformation of the country. And this country holds, one of the key, prospect to play in the overall global scenario, global economic scenario. So with this context, let's welcome Mr. Khera. Sir, thank you so much for joining us today.
Good morning,
As
Fazji.
Thank you, sir. So today, let's hear the MSME story with the national priorities, from your side. And, to begin with, I would like to, hear from you, and the entire audience would like to hear from you about the evolving role of Indian MSMEs, and how we are moving towards the Viksit Bharat 2047, which is a very interesting and motivating, mm, trend, or motivating, target, which is being set by the top authorities.
Good morning, Fazji. It is a pleasure for me to be, speaking to you this morning, particularly in view of the upcoming World MSME Day, which we just talked about. So day after 27th of June is what we celebrate every year as the World MSME Day, and we are looking forward to it. You were quite correct in, making this observation that MSMEs have emerged as the backbone of the Indian economy. And we all know the contribution this sector makes to the GDP, more than 30%. It has a huge contribution to employment generation because it is the second largest employer after agriculture. And we contribute almost 48% to the exports from India. And almost one third of the manufacturing output comes from the MSME sector. And as we, move forward towards Viksit Bharat 2047, the role of this sector is only bound to grow, as we move forward, because, it'll change actually from simply being a backbone to having a more transformational role to play, because it will be the catalyst for growth, I would say, as we move forward. Our SMEs, particularly the micro, small enterprises, which were earlier operating at a local level, are now, increasingly becoming part of the global value chain. So they are not only looking at markets within India, they are also exploring markets outside. And a lot of formalization has happened in this sector in the last couple of years. As of today, we have more than 8.6 crore enterprises who are now registered on the Udyam portal. This number was almost 20% of this 3 years back. So in these, 3 years, we have been able to register 5x enterprises, and the number is still growing. So all those enterprises which were so far not part of the formal ecosystem have now also, started getting access to all the benefits that are, planned and envisaged for this sector. Plus, the other change that has happened is that the jobs have become more productive, better paid, and skill oriented. So this skilling has also brought in a new dimension to this sector.
Exactly. With this, I would also like to know how next 3 to 4 years, according to you, Indian entrepreneur, the MSME entrepreneur should focus upon, like how crucial are these next 3 to 4 years, especially, when we are looking and preparing for a bigger target, when the world is also evolving, and you have mentioned very, appropriately that the global markets are also, becoming more, you can say, business centric, as we actually look at the exports output and the role of MSMEs in that. So how do you, what suggestions you would like to make for Indian MSME entrepreneurs for next 3 to 4 years?
It was COVID that turned the eyes of the global economy towards India when they started, looking at India as a very good alternative for mass manufacturing. We had the, manpower, we had the technology, and
Hmm.
it was felt that perhaps, India can contribute quite a lot towards the global value chain. And in the last couple of years, as I said, the Indian economy is holding a lot of promise otherwise at the global level also. And the global uncertainties that have come up, the geopolitical situation that has been emerging in the last few years, has also pushed, all the global players towards India's role in the global value chain. So there, I feel the MSMEs can really harness this opportunity. The technology has also been a major disruptor. AI has, opened up newer opportunities which perhaps our MSMEs can make good use of in, scaling up, in, making things much bigger. Then, the access to finance has also, in form of credit guarantees, in form of equity infusion, has opened up newer opportunities for the MSME sector, which I'm sure our enterprises would be making good use of in the next 3 to 5 years.
Perfect. With regards to ease of doing business and finance, you mentioned already, MSMEs often mention policy interventions. Is there any, focus which you would like to mention here, which, interventions have been inclined towards in making the finance and the growth capital available for Indian MSMEs?
For any enterprise, access to finance is the most critical enabler. And both credit as well as equity are equally important for growth. For
Hmm.
credit, our credit guarantee scheme for micro and small enterprises has really kicked off very well. And in
Hmm.
fact, in the last 3 years, almost 10 lakh crore worth of credit guarantee has been given for micro and small enterprises, which is quite a substantial figure. And though this concept was there much earlier, but this has picked up in the last 3 years, I would say. Similarly, for
Hmm.
equity, Government of India came up with the self-reliant fund of
Hmm.
10,000 crores a couple of years back. And the idea was that with government contributing 10,000 crores, 40,000 crores would be contributed from the market by venture capitalists and other, I mean, most of these funds. And the whole corpus would be around 50,000 crore worth of funds, which would be used for infusing equity in such MSMEs which have a high growth potential and which are very critical to achieve our objectives of Atmanirbhar Bharat. So that has also kicked off, because against this targeted amount of 50,000 crores, we have been able to mobilize almost 56,000 crore already, and this has been invested
Hmm.
in 750 odd such high growth enterprises, which have really had a transformative role in bringing them up to that particular scale.
Hmm. So another part with regards to payments is also a challenge of delayed payments. How is ministry working towards it, towards addressing these kind of, this issue of delayed payments, especially, when we have seen a lot of, policies already been made. Is there any progress? Is there any further improvement can we expect in this direction?
For any enterprise in the MSME sector, timely payments is very critical, because the entire working capital cycle gets impacted if the payment gets delayed. So to resolve this issue, government has come up with multiple policy interventions. First of all, the MSME Samadhaan portal had been brought up a couple of years back. The idea was that a person should be in a position to track online payments and disputes on this portal itself. And then, the MSEFC, the facilitation councils, were set up across the states. These have been strengthened in recent years to reduce the time taken to settle these disputes of payments between the buyer and the seller. To add to this, the online
Hmm.
dispute resolution, the ODR portal, was revamped and launched last year by the Honorable President on the MSME Day itself. So we would be completing 1 year of this portal. So this has enabled easier and faster settlement of disputes, again through the portal itself, without the need for physically the person to go or to have visits to the MSCFC. These things, these hearings can be done virtually, and some of these disputes can be settled even at the pre-MSCFC stage without the need for a formal adjudication. So this has made things simpler. Plus, the Trades platform, which is meant for invoice discounting, has also really
Hmm.
helped quite a lot. And now it has been made mandatory for all the CPSCs and
Hmm.
even the private companies above a particular threshold of turnover to have all the transactions through Trades. So that would also enable MSCs to get their payments, well in time, and this issue of delayed payments would be addressed to a great extent.
Great. So this is a very critical subject and very delicate subject, I should say, because often MSMEs don't want to complain, or if they complain, they fear to lose a lot of stakes which are there in building the relationship with the with their client. Or so it is. I hope it needs proper delicate attention as well, and which I'm sure the ministry is working toward. So you also mentioned about technology, and Ministry of MSME is also having very vast network, a wild, I mean, a very you can say a wide range of technology centers across MSME clusters across country. Uh, Having said that, do you see that these technology centers need a bit of more, you can say, advancements or technological advancements in their own ecosystems? Because we have seen AI, we have seen automation, we have seen Industry 4.0 now, and we have MSMEs which are actually preparing for bigger horizons, newer horizons like defense sector, like agri-tech sector. Do you see a role of technology centers becoming more stronger? Do you see, the focus towards technology centers need more fresh outlook?
Firstly, yes, the technology centers are contributing quite a lot, particularly towards adoption, faster adoption of technology, advanced technology by the MSMEs, and these have been, set up pan India. The We already had 18 set up in the first phase. then 15 were done in the second phase, and now 20 are being taken up in the third phase. So this would take the total number to 53, and they're spread across the length and breadth of the country. Almost all states are covered. And the idea is that they give practical training in modern technologies, tools like AI, robotics, IoT, advanced manufacturing practices. So people have MSMEs can have access to these technologies through these technology centers. Plus, they also give a lot of support in terms of tooling, prototyping, product design, and a lot of skill upgradation courses are also being implemented at these technology centers. In fact, I have also had the opportunity of visiting some of them in this limited 1.5 months I have put in as secretary here, and I have found them, extremely well. I mean, they're performing quite well, and they were much better than what I had expected them to be when I saw them for the first time.
Just spend few weeks and it'll be great towards that, and which I'm sure you've been considering. So you also mentioned in your conversation about the global markets and the exports ambitions on, and obviously this would be the way forward. So at the policy level, we have discussed that as well briefly in our previous interaction meeting. uh, uh, you know, there are several trade agreements which are happening at the larger level, at the, top policy makers level, and India is becoming one of the preferred, country across the globe for such trade agreements. We have seen that in our like last few years, global partnerships are happening. How Indian MSMEs can leverage these things in order to grow manifold?
You're quite right. These free trade agreements, which are being negotiated in the last couple of months and years, I would say, and being now firmed up, are opening up newer opportunities for our MSMEs, because one, the tariffs get lowered as a result of these FTAs. Then the access to partner markets becomes much easier and simpler. Our Indian products can become more competitive in the export markets. So it is not just cheaper exports. It is also a chance to enter these markets which were so far closed due to various reasons, and sometimes these markets were so complex also for an ordinary exporter to have to gain access. So this has opened up newer opportunities. Plus, partnerships with the foreign distributors and the digital distribution network is also a great help for particularly for our MSMEs, because we are able to reach customers at a much lower cost and a wide network of customers. So this improved market access is something which has really brought in good opportunities for our MSMEs, and they have been able to match up with it by upgrading their quality standards, by getting the requisite certifications, by improvement in packaging, so that they are able to compete in international markets.
Great, sir. Great, and I'm sure there'll be even bigger action. So some of the actions which we have also taken from our side in order to make the community aware is we are on this day of World MSME Day 2026, we are announcing a program which is Campus to Commerce, in which we are not just talking about how MSMEs should grow and how MSMEs can grow, and not just pointing out opportunities, but we are also trying to motivate and educate the workforce, and the potential workforce which are there at the college level, at the university level, to understand the nuances of industry, to understand the trends that this industry is following, is chasing, so that the young students who are going to be the young professionals in few months down the line should be able to maintain a kind of speed which is actually needed for them to jumpstart. So we have content in that direction. We are expected to have more conversations with students who are going to join the industry soon, and we are going to have MSMEs and MSME leaders talking about trends, the hands-on experiences, the hands-on challenges that they are facing, which needs to be addressed, all through in this program of Campus to Commerce. And I would definitely like your mentorship and your, support, knowledge support, and your guidance in that aspect as well.
No, this is in fact a great idea. I must congratulate you for this initiative. And this kind of connect between academia and industry is extremely critical, because unless and until you have this kind of a connect, the real world problems are not really focused upon by the students in studying in educational institutions. So
Hmm.
perhaps this gives an opportunity for them to test their hypothesis which they learn as a part of their curriculum in the real world, and they are able to test the challenges that are actually brought up when they work in the market.
Professor, thank you so much for this motivating, statement, and definitely your support would be very important for this. So, just to conclude this conversation, very valuable conversation for our readers, as we are looking towards 2030, what success you visualize for the Indian MSME sector by, say, next 2.5, 3 years?
I am very hopeful that this formalization drive, which we initiated a couple of years back, would perhaps reach a level of saturation. We should be able to have every MSME who's operating in the economy captured on our portal, with the intent of making all the facilities, all the schemes that are available today to benefit the ecosystem, which is provided to him through an easy access. So that is one thing which I am looking forward to. Plus, the adoption of technology would have happened to a large extent till 2030. Our MSMEs, as I mentioned, are very quick in keeping pace with the technology advances, and they are using. They have started using AI and other tools in their manufacturing practices, in their operations also, which would perhaps bring in a lot of competitiveness and bring down the costing for them. Our MSMEs would be totally transformed looking forward till 2030, because they would have become an integral part of the global value chain. And instead of contributing as tier 2 and tier 3 vendors at the lower end of the value chain, they may have become scaled up and become big aggregators also by then.
Thank you so much, Secretary Sir. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is Mr. Bharat Khera, Secretary, Ministry of MSME. And we had just heard very valuable insights and perspectives, and we from him. As we all know, Indian MSME sector stands at the heart of country's economic transformation. So conversations like these definitely not just help entrepreneurs, to better understand opportunities and how policies are influencing their growth path. They also motivate some of the young entrepreneurs to move ahead, to leapfrog, and to prepare for the next. It is really encouraging from a leadership like this to have a conversation which definitely can shape the growth path. On behalf of SME Street community, I really thank you to Mr. Khera for joining us on SME Street Viewpoint. I, Dr. Faiz Askari, would like to thank the entire audience as well, and very, excited to look forward in bringing more such conversations that really can empower Indian entrepreneur and business ecosystem. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Faz ji. It was a pleasure to interact with you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.